tell you, I had the best time in the world. Couple nights ago, I got to spend some time with a good friend who happens to be in town, Bubbles, a.k.a. Inez Wyrick, or Inez, a.k.a. Bubbles. I just love calling her Bubbles. But she has come into town with these beautiful and amazing stones that she is going to be doing a presentation of this weekend here in Amarillo on Sunday at 2 p.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites off of the I-40 access road. And she is also going to be doing a presentation of them on October 10th in Virginia at the, let me see if I can find, it's going to be in Front Royal, Virginia at the Mountain Mystic Trading Store. And she did a presentation of them in Wisconsin. I think it was last month as well. So these stones are traveling around the country. If they come to a town near you, you definitely want to go check them out. And I had so much fun sitting down and talking to her. If you saw the blog post today on there'sarockforthat.com, I show some pictures of the stone. And if you're listening online or later in archive, you'll see it on the little pictures that go by on the slideshow on the show page here. You can see some pictures of her dragon stones, and on my blog I posted a couple pictures, the front and back view of the stone that I got because I got to meet my dragon during my time with Bubbles, and I've been wearing it ever since. And we'll talk about it after the interview, but there been some really remarkable things that I've noticed about working with it and being with it. It's amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this interview that I did with Inez, or Bubbles, whichever you want to call her. And then after that, I'll let you know how you can get in touch with her if you would like to bring a Dragonstone presentation to your town, or if you would just like to contact her and get some intuitive guidance as well, because she is a life coach and a reader. She's really quite a remarkable woman. And really, that's kind of where we started with this interview, is I asked her to kind of give her background, and you can see a short bio of her on this page here and also on there'sarockforthat.com. So let's go ahead and start this interview. And just a quick note, the last Thursday of every month is our Open Lines, Open Mind show, where I take your calls and you can share your crystal journey, which is always wonderful to hear, everybody else's experiences with stones. And also, you can always ask a question about crystals, and I will try to give an answer. Or you can call in for a free mini crystal reading. But we will do that after. I already see that there's some callers waiting online here. I'm guessing probably call in. They have their hand raised. And I will get to those calls, but I'm not going to be taking them until after the interview. So just letting you know, be patient and enjoy this interview with Bubbles. Here we go.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. My name is Inez Wyrick. I'm also known as Bubbles. And a short bio on myself is I was a very strange kid and learned to read Mom's mason jars of water when I was younger and got weirder as I went. But all through life, and probably you're the same way, I would pick up rocks that made me happy. I liked rocks. And pretty soon I had a large collection. But at a later time, I had the great privilege of becoming a secretary and then an apprentice and student to my great teacher, whose American name was Doris Twaddell, but her name is Stormy Winterhawk. She's the granddaughter of Quanah Parker and the great-granddaughter of Kiowa Comanche Mamanti, who was the Owl Chief, they called him, or the Owl Prophet. So she's really a royal bloodline, and she nurtured me and took me under her wing, so to speak, and helped me to launch not only into a different kind of a career, but to find my center, to nurture and try to maximize my own potential. It was an amazing experience that went for years, and this is where I got my start. And that's my background and credentials, really, right there.
Well, those are some great credentials.
I think, those years were precious, and she remained my dear friend until her death. Bless her soul. I know she's soaring with the eagles right now. I mean, what a thing. But I at some point, I was collecting and working with all kinds of rocks, anywhere from agates to Zinsite. I like working with all that, and was really wondering about the medicinal purposes as well as emotional and spiritual benefits. And all through this, I'm thinking, why don't people embrace the natural energy and power that was placed on this earth for us to not only learn from, but heal from, grow from?
Yeah.
Just plain old rocks.
Yeah, I think of it as our birthright.
I do too. I think it's wonderful. So, of course, I started off with a little river rock. And I don't know if people talk about river rocks very much on your show, but my teacher was very adamant. We did a lot of walking through creek beds and rivers just to find something like this one happens to be from the Shenandoah River. But I started here when she would say, now, river rock is maybe the most wonderful of all. Why? She said, because they've been exposed to all four elements. And they have it all. And you can take a river rock and put it between your pulse points right here in your hand, where she did things the old Indian way, and says you program a river rock. Nice. And it will do what you need. For example, she'd say, let's make this one for health. Okay, and so, which I did on this one, and you say your little prayer and have it between the pulse points, and then you blow a breath, the breath of life,
into
and
your
it's
hand.
Done. It is programmed.
Wow.
And
nice.
So I think if anybody wanted to start anywhere and they were looking at the ground, if they're one of these people who go and pick up rocks, you've got a start right there. It's something that could be more precious than anything you realize. Yeah. I see people carry them to bingo or to whatever, but whatever you want to program. But the river rock is one that can handle one task at a time. But it's blessed by all four elements: your prayer, your pulse, and your breath of life. And this is it.
That idea of your prayer, because a lot of times when people talk about programming stones or programming crystals, they think they have to do some big elaborate thing. They're studying in a book and trying to memorize something else.
It's so much more simple than that. It just takes the thought and your heart.
The intention.
Well, that's it. It takes that intention and thought and the beauty of it. And when you blow your breath in, the American Indians, of course, believe that's not only your blessing, but that empowers this stone. So I always keep one little river rock around just for fun. But our show this weekend.
Yeah, you're doing a show here in Amarillo.
And it's at 2 o'clock on Sunday, the 30th of August. It's at the Hilton Homewood Suites at 8800 I-40 West, which is next door to Red Robin at Soncy and I-40 on the frontage road. Okay, we're going to start there, at which time I'm going to tell the legend of these wonderful stones. And that I'll reserve for the show. But I'd like to show you some of the many beautiful things that make these different. In addition, I must say, I never give or sell a stone that has not been through a 7-step blessing process. Each one of my stones has laid a day in the Chimayo sacred dirt from Chimayo, and then it's been rinsed in holy water and dried for a day. It goes all the way through different parts, American Indian, Japanese, Hindi, and ends up with my pyramid. It's under a smoky quartz hung from the inside of a pyramid, and they lay there. So it's a complete 7-day blessing process for each individual stone. I wanted that to be part of what made me different with selling stones, is that I could guarantee that these can't do you any harm,
Right.
but they may be able to do you very much good.
Yeah.
And most people will find themselves attracted just by sight. Ooh, that's a pretty one. And that's okay. But these dragon stones are meant to appeal to the dragon within, and everybody needs their own personal dragon. Everybody.
That's what I wanted to ask about, the dragon stones. You know, it made me kind of think about it, because it feels like we're in a time, maybe especially now, where like this dragon energy seems to be really coming through for a lot of people. And was that part of the process for you?
It certainly was. I happened to make friends with a Chinese family that owns a quarry in the Ural mountain range, which is where these dragonstones come. Now, I might want to mention there are several types of rock, including septarian, and there are several that call themselves dragonstones, or dragon blood,
like
or something like that.
The red and green epidotes and septarian nodules.
There's a lot of people, but this family and the people that I have learned all this from, they just call these dragonstones, and it's a wonderful story. I can't wait to tell the legend behind it. But let me show you some of the things. First of all, the dragonstones are a lovely complementary blend of onyx and agate, which are like sister stones.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the, so to speak, rock solid agate, which is a learning tool and a grounding tool and an honest tool, as well as the onyx, which I call a solo stone. It brings out leadership ability and assertiveness rather than aggressiveness. But in their belief, it's all a part of the dragons, you see, and everyone will find one, if not many, of their senses alive with it.
Mm-hmm.
So each feature of the dragons, they mean something. And so I have a small booklet I'll be handing out, and I thought maybe you would like to look at it. This is
I'd love
just
to.
One that, because we're going to have a fun little test. Okay, I'm going to turn this light on,
Okay.
and I'm going to let you. Yes, it's fun. It's fun because the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm going to put this light on. It may be somehow we can adjust it. I would like to show you some of the features. For example, here's one that is a teardrop. The teardrop, the shape tells you that this dragon is here to shed all your tears. You no longer have to shed tears. All the shapes mean something. The colored, this is the ice dragon and the blue one. That's part of the legend. But all these may look just like simple rocks until you put them in front of a light.
Wow.
Now, the Chinese believe that the true light comes from your soul. But, of course, you can see when it's up against it, just kind of looks like it might be a pretty rock.
Right.
But as you will see, this one displays certain features like the butterfly wing pattern. And we've got different colors. There's ghostly figures or masses that are what we call peach blow, or what jewelers call peach blow. And that's the sign that this dragon gives you its magic. So with the wings, you fly above all your problems, all mundane earthly things, and you fly above this. I think this is a beautiful...
Well, they are so beautiful, and for anyone who's listening online, you can see on the slideshow the pictures, and on the blog is some pictures of the stones as well, and they really are fascinating. You can imagine just staring at it all the time.
You
just
can.
Yourself.
And the odd thing is you put it on, and before you know it, you're feeling it. I'm just going to pick one, or have you pick one, any one you want, and I'll show you some of the features. What are you drawn to? Anything you particularly want?
You know I love this kind of stuff.
Oh, it's
What
so
am
much
I
fun.
drawn to?
I got to show you one that sort of looks like an alien. This one. Boy, oh boy, I envy the person who gets this one. But look, it's first of all, it's in the shape of a shield.
Oh, yeah.
That's very important. But look at
Well,
this.
it looks like it's in the shape of an alien face, too.
It does, and you can
like
sort of see the eyes.
Yeah.
And you put it here and you think, oh,
And you think
my.
that's sort of the brain at the top. Yeah.
It is. I mean,
amazing.
these are all fantastic. So choose any stone you want, and let's look at it and have some fun, and we'll talk about, because all the dragons have different colors too.
Yeah.
They all mean something.
This one.
Okay, tell me why you feel drawn to it, first of all.
Well, you know, I think first of all, I think it's the color and the mix of color, and I just feel like it's a dragon smiling. I feel like it's a red dragon smiling at me.
Well, why don't you put it in front of the light and let's look at some of the clearer other features. Look, this is what you call peach blow. This is, in other words, this bringing you its magic. But you also have some gold dragon, and that's for the dragon that's gold rules the treasures. Look at almost cathedral colors spread through there. That's very unique. And being that it's egg-shaped or oval, that is going to be a very universal, within the egg here lies your dragon, and your, if you'll look, and everybody sees something different, that almost looks like a figure in there.
I was going to say, it looks like this is the face of someone. It looks like it could be almost Mongolian.
How interesting is that?
Funny.
Yes.
It looks like a Mongolian man with a friendly red dragon, you know.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And he has something in his hand, it looks like, to me. It's like he's got something there. I'm not sure what
Mary, not everybody would see that.
Yeah.
But it's coming
really
from
weird
you.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's coming from you.
This is so much fun going through all these beautiful stones. This
no.
Is like
it gets you all hyper, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, we were, in my little booklet I explained what a portal is. And you can have a portal on the front side or the back side or maybe all the way through. I was interested in this stone because, as you can see, it's got a triangular shaped portal. Well, the triangle is...
It's a holy stone.
It's right. It's based off the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
And it also goes all the way through, which means this is more than just something pretty. This is a tool for the shaman, holy monks, people who do this. They do this...
Send your blessings through it.
Well, and they use it for astral travel, time travel. This is what they claim. They need that double portal, you see.
Yeah.
You've got it in a triangle shape, but look at this. It happens to be the eye of a dragon.
It is the eye of a dragon.
You see the mouth and the nose?
Yeah.
And here's its eye.
I mean, that
eyebrow.
really evokes...
This is an amazing stone, isn't it?
It is.
Well, but they all are.
I mean, they
and
all
it's
are.
almost like a fire-breathing red dragon.
It's almost like the fire is there, the mouth is there, you can see the...
It's fantastic. Now, another thing you want to know, it's got scales in it.
Yeah.
So this dragon tells you, I protect you like I do the scales here.
Nice.
It's got veins in it, which says, my blood courses through your vein.
Oh, I love that.
And so you get yourself a dragon, and you're going... This is changing me.
Yeah.
I've had some people to take pictures of their dragon when they get it, and then
it changes.
They'll take a picture a month later, 6 months later, and it's different.
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't know how that happens. I honestly do not know.
It's what they need, maybe.
Well, exactly. But as you can tell, this just gets too fun. I don't even know where to start. But it doesn't matter because I would like you to just keep picking things out and looking. Turns out you have a very good eye for this. And I think we can lay this right here. Look at this dragon eye.
Oh, wow. That's just gorgeous.
That's amazing. And I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You've got a purple dragon with lavender.
It looks like you're looking at you.
And there the striations here, the bands, are in the colors that happen to be like lavender and darker purples, medium. So this is definitely a purple dragon eye. And it's in the shape of a teardrop. I cry your tears.
Wow.
You don't cry your tears. I cry them for you.
Now, the colors, could we, in a sense, so it's purple, would we, in a sense, associate that with maybe the crown chakra?
Absolutely. These can go, you could place one on any of your chakra points that matches the colors, and pretty much everybody knows that, or they can get that information very easily.
Yeah.
But indeed, like the purple dragon, they rule consoling the mourning, as well as nurturing the royalty within.
Oh, I like that.
And so you have on a
it's that
purple.
royal color.
You ought to see. I have seen. Here's an example. I had a lady with a very poor self-esteem problem start wearing her purple dragon.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Isn't that amazing? But she changed. It took about 6 months, and I didn't recognize her.
Wow.
What are you seeing there? You see the scale pattern. You see peach blow.
Yeah.
But what drew you to that stone?
You know what it was? Is this area here? I feel like it's a tail. I felt like it was a dragon's tail.
I think that's beautiful.
That's interesting. There's something about catching the tail of the dragon, like what that might mean.
Oh, Mary, that's deep. That's wonderful.
But you know what I mean? If you can catch the dragon by the tail, then you can maybe, feel more confidence.
I think you got it. I think you have this, girl. This is wonderful. Each person may or may not see what you see, but it's like art. Each stone is an individual art.
Well, and that's the whole thing is the what it evokes in each person.
Exactly. This is a beautiful little stone.
It really is. It's interesting. Who's that guy? He looks
Mary, you're seeing
Arabic. Doesn't he
when
look
you
like Aladdin?
See a person in here that my Chinese friends tell me, the quarry owners say, that means this dragon has an angel guide that walks with it.
Yeah,
and
he's wearing like a turban.
And you can see it's an eye.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid between an ice dragon or a white dragon and the blue. The blue dragons, I've got it in my little pamphlet for everyone to learn. Blue dragons rule peace, harmony, the skies. I mean, so many things that are wonderful. You'd love it.
Bring tranquility.
Gold dragons rule the treasures, so many people like that. But this one is interesting because it's got peach blow and the clear or invisible dragon as a hybrid. And they're all pretty much hybrids. Look how different it looks on the other side.
It does.
And when you have like an invisible dragon, it's like having a cloak of invisibility with the gold.
Like Harry Potter.
Like Harry Potter. So you have that. You have eyes in here, but the gold is the one for treasure. Now, what is your treasure? Is it money? Is it health? It depends on the person and what would be their treasure.
What they value.
Here's the one who is the guardian of that.
Are you ever surprised when you do your shows at the responses from people? Do they ever, do you see people that kind of come out of their shell being around the stones? Because
you can't
fun.
help it.
It's
right, you can't, and I'm sure you've even noticed handling them. There's something different happening with you.
It is really, it's fantastic. It's enlivening in a way.
Each stone is an individual work of art. It cannot be duplicated. It's like an investment in art, and yet, you'll have different wing shapes of your dragon. Some of them will have the fins at the back because they're from the sea. Some of them do not. Why are you attracted to that?
There's like all of a sudden, what's weird is there's like who's that guy? That's what I was thinking. Is like, who is that guy? That looks in. It's interesting because not only do you see like the shapes in even people. Sorry, everybody, this is blowing my mind. And the dragons and stuff, but it's almost like you see entire landscapes, like you see a scene happening, which is really fascinating. And it looks like a boat.
It does look like a boat.
It looks like a boat, and like maybe the dragon is like kind of cradling it for some reason. I don't know
what
why.
you just said and how you explained it, this is how I read a crystal ball.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the stones for the first time and went, I'm seeing them. Will everybody else? Now, I'll tell you what.
Well, you used to teach a crystal ball class.
I love doing that.
It's so cool.
At first when I started selling these, people just started going for them and just picking them out and going. I thought, they don't even know what it means. And I think, how could you do that?
Slow down.
But then I realized it did stimulate one of their senses.
Yeah.
And they were being drawn for a reason, and if they didn't want to know what it meant, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's where they're at their level of advancement, and they just went by looks.
Right.
That's okay. I've gotten okay with that, but I keep thinking, don't you people want to know what this means and why you're drawn to it?
Yeah.
And what are you seeing that nobody else in the room can see? Oh, you're seeing it.
Yeah.
How odd.
Well, it's funny because it's that whole thing of, we meet people where they are. And, I feel you don't have to believe in the power of crystals for them to do their thing.
No, you do not.
And that's kind of a nice thing because I think it's sort of like they're helping all these people that have no idea, and would probably never believe it.
Well, there's no doubt about it. All of us, even the stones, everything is based off of a type of electricity.
Yeah.
And I always say to people who say, I don't believe in crystals, I think, do you use a remote control? You have a watch on?
Exactly.
They're using weapons. I mean, what do you mean? Yes, you do believe in it.
Yes.
You don't realize it, maybe, but you believe. It's all about electricity, and it's so much fun.
And so, what are the shows like? Because you're doing the one this weekend in Amarillo. You just came from doing one in Wisconsin, and you've got one coming up in October
in Front Royal, Virginia.
Front Royal, Virginia.
Yes.
And so, what can people look forward to?
They can. For the first 15 to 20 minutes, I want to explain the blessing process. I want to tell them the legend, which is just charming when you listen to it. And I would like to give them one of these pamphlets that they can take. That way I don't have to talk anymore. I can say, you know what, pick up one and look in there and see, what does the shape mean? Why are you attracted to this? Look for the features. I'll have a couple of lights like this, these LED lights for people.
And so people will get to hold them up to the light and kind of look through them. And, you know, it's such a, this is like a fun event, you know. A lot of times, you know, when people do like, you know, you go to like, say you go to Tucson or something, you go to one of the big like stone shows, it's just kind of like walking through the stones, and that's a great experience, but you get to play. That's even better.
It's up close and personal. In addition, well, let me tell you another thing that I'm playing with right now, and I'm not bringing it out. At home I do this, but, you know, I've been a music teacher also. And so not only do the electrical frequencies, but tone frequencies, it's all based off electricity. Well, I learned a little something. I kept thinking, people would call and just say, well, shop for me. Tell me what I need. And I wanted to be more exacting than, say, a pendulum or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I did is I found a rock called Ulexulite. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't have any of it.
You can see through it.
Yeah.
And it's, I got where I started playing with, I've got a 15-set tuning forks going from this big all the way down. So I started going, and I would do a tuning fork, and I would say, write out that person's name and put that Ulexulite on it, do the tuning fork, and go, oh, which one vibrates? Oh, look, let's say you. I might say, look, Mary's name vibrates the best on a musical tone of C sharp.
Right.
Well, I need a stone that matches that.
Right.
So I've gone through, and I'll find every one of those and do and find out what their tone is, and then let's say I go, oh, this one matches Mary.
See, I like that so much, you know, because folks, this is really great, because you can get 4 or 5 different books on crystals, and each of those books will tell you that a specific type of crystal vibrates to a certain number. And every book will give you a different number. I like this idea much better because it makes sense and it's testable.
It is testable. So whenever
that's brilliant.
Thank you very much. I haven't seen anybody else do that with the stones.
I've never heard of anyone doing that. That's wonderful.
I can only do it when somebody says shop for me. And so what I do is I say, well, tell me the 3 colors that you're most likely to wear. So if I came up with, let's say for you, 3 C sharps, 10 C sharps, she only wears these 3 colors. Let me test between these 2.
Right.
This is the stone for her.
Right.
This is the one. And so when I didn't bring those for my show, of course, the tuning forks, but what I can do, and I do is let people pick out, and many times people will walk up to me and say, okay, why am I attracted to this? And I can turn and I can look and I can touch their hand and how they've just touched it, and I might be able to say, well, you've apparently been through a divorce.
Yeah.
You've got heartache here, and there's so many things you pick up. It just takes being able to be sensitive to vibrational frequencies.
Do you think the energy of the stone leaves an impression?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
I can't help but think that when I see people's lives, not everybody, everyone goes along at their own advancement speed, okay? But when I watch and see people's lives starting to change and then changing and then moving on, I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like we were mentioning before, I know when I started handling these, I started getting all giddy, as you may be able to tell. And I started noticing for myself a big change. I can't really attribute it to the rocks. Perhaps it's a coincidence, but I've gone all my life having to work with weight control. And since I started working with these rocks,
with the dragon stones, particularly, it has been almost effortless, but I've lost 124 pounds. Amazing.
I find myself drinking water instead of Coca-Cola, or I can't say it's the stone because we don't have enough testing going on here, but it does change your vibrational frequency.
Yeah. What do you find that people walk away with? Like, do you hear from people like a bit of time after they've had their stone for a while, and like you were talking about just kind of some really great changes that have been coming into your life since you've been working with this? What other kind of changes do?
I get a lot of feedback. I wish that I had pulled up my computer because I save all the input on that. But when I was here last time, I had a lady to buy a gold dragon, and this lady had been. She may be listening. I hope so. But like we talked about a gold dragon, and here's some little baby dragons that are gold. But she walked in a lot of despair. She had a pending lawsuit that she just couldn't seem to win. It had been going on for years, as well as other things. And she put that on in the first week that lawsuit settled.
Wow.
Before the end of the week, she had another windfall profit.
Wow.
Now, is it coincidence? Is it not? I don't know. But the people who wear these things are, finding out
that there's
some kind of vibrational frequency, and it alters us. We alter it. We become like one with our dragons. See?
Yeah.
And of course, you can think of it as just a stone.
But I never think of it as just a stone.
Even if you do.
I think a big part of this that I really think is maybe part of why they're so helpful is that it's easy to see it.
I think so.
And, I think so often, if we don't have to reach for it, if we don't have to, struggle to remember, like, oh, this stone is going to help me with this, I'll just keep it in my pocket. What's it doing again? But if you can see it, then you believe it. And a lot of times, if you think that you have a support, if you think you have like a dragon on your side, you're going to be able to face a lot of challenges that maybe you didn't feel strong enough on your own.
Yes.
And that's okay. We all have things that, we could always use a little extra help with.
And, if you, now, these, because they are cut stones, of course, then you can imagine they can break. Some people will drop them, they'll break.
Yeah.
But here's the belief about that. They say, wow, you're supposed to glue it back together, because it always breaks in two pieces. It doesn't shatter. It just.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it creates the scar, and that makes that stone a warrior stone.
Oh, wow. Okay,
so
that I like.
I do too. And I don't have any warrior stones here, but I have some that have broken that I have thought about putting together and selling as warrior stones. But that proves right there when you have it. So I hope you don't break it or anything. But if you do, yank that puppy up, glue it back together, and it's a warrior.
From the very beginning, and I think I may have talked about this previously on the show, that was one of the things that people struggle with, like, oh, my crystal, it broke. And some people will bury the pieces in the earth. Well, this is just lovely. And these booklets that Inez includes with the presentation, it gives you everything. It talks about the color. It talks about, what the dragon rules. It talks about, kind of some background on the dragon and how it can help, like maybe even physically, metaphysical properties, and then also how to recharge it. You don't get that when you go to a rock shop. Mm-mm. No, you get a stone, and they're like, it might be good for something, depending on where you go.
Well, I like to think that what great. I'm doing is not only passing along blessed stones that have gone through a blessing process, but also from an educational point of view.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much more fun to know what you're getting into and how to appreciate it if you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I've chosen to make this a learning experience as well as an opportunity to view art or find your dragon.
Because I love that you talk about the shape as well, because a lot of times we don't talk about the shape of things very much. We might talk about the platonic solids and leave it at that.
Right.
So Plato came up with something, and we've got the tree of life, we've got the flower of life, and I don't know, geometry is important.
It is important.
But, sometimes we see those kind of, things of a spiral nature, and stuff, and we know it means something, and I love the idea of a shield and a teardrop, because I never hear shapes like that discussed.
It's important. It's important what you're drawn to, Gosh, I wish I had my little arrows here. Like the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
If it's pointing down, it's like with the Native Americans or other societies, it means my arrow's pointing down, I come in peace.
Nice.
Now, if you have it pointing up, depending on what culture, some cultures believe that's a very spiritual, directional, because the arrow, of course, is a directional symbol, and it's pointing up. It could mean anything up here in the universe, but for a warrior, the arrow pointing up means
I'm ready.
I'm locked and loaded. I'm on alert. I'm not pointing it at you.
Right.
Nobody has to get hurt, but just in case, you need to know. If need be, I will protect myself and others. And so you look and see, what does this symbol mean, and why am I drawn to it?
Yeah.
There's got to be something. And, of course, you can tell ladies will go nutty with this, but equally so do men.
That's great.
Men are drawn to it.
The idea of people seeing these and they're connecting to different stones, is there because that one actually made me think of it. When you showed that to me, I thought of Pompeii for some reason. And so could people be connecting to past lives through some of these things? So like somebody really drawn to that may have had lived a life in Pompeii and kind of seen something like that.
It has triggered something in your subconscious or superconscious mind. It has triggered something there,
superconscious.
Hasn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so you can't help but question and wonder.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this. These can get intense. Like, for me, I got to get away from her tonight, or I've got happy feet all night long. Ready
So
to
is
go.
that, do you recommend a certain length of time, or is it up to the person?
I would say that if this is making you hyperactive, be sure and take it off at night. I remember my husband, when we started getting into it, he would wear them to bed. And every morning, and he just sleeps like a log, every morning he'd get up at 3 in the morning and run to the basement where the piano was. And then he'd have to get up and go to school. Or teach school. And I finally said, "What are you doing?" "I don't know. I'm waking up at 3 in the morning and I'm composing music." I said, "From 3 to 7 in the morning?" "Yeah, and I can't stop myself." I said, "Wait a minute. Are you wearing that stone?" "Yeah, I wear it to sleep." "Well, take it off."
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that. And so you have to kind of gauge. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Take it off. You can take it off for up to 3 days. We've shown you in my little pamphlet there how to do a cleanse, and you can, if you like, some people like the blue dragon has a tendency, as well as the orange one, to help you with better dreams. People who have nightmares, you can lay them next to your, next to your bed
or something.
You might want to experiment. It's going to have a different and unique, personal effect on everybody. It's a personal journey.
Well, I
These
can't
are
wait
stones
to
that are different.
journey with my red dragon.
I hope you love it. I hope you love it.
I love it already. It's like it's an invigorating feeling, and I'll put a picture of this on the website as well, so you can see this beautiful red dragon. Love it. Well, thank you so much. This has been delightful, and you're going to be Amarillo this weekend. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, and then I'll also mention the show in Virginia on October 10th.
October 10th at Mountain Mystic Trading Company in Front Royal, Virginia. A lovely place with lovely people.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. It's been just delightful.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that fun interview with Inez Wyrick. And again, if you would like to get in touch with her, if you can look on my blog post and also on the show description of how to do that. She has a number that you can call, or if you want to make an appointment with her to get some intuitive consultation, you can email her at appointments4